316healthins.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm waiting for this to click over to 37. Let's go ahead and start, and that way we're 28 seconds ahead of the world.
All right.
Okay, and here we go. Say when.
When?
Hello, entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, and happy people with high hopes. Welcome to Cashflows with your host, Cash Matthews.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to Cashflows. We're glad you're here. I'm your host today, Cash Matthews, and we're excited you're here. You know, we talk about a lot of things on this show, business, life, how to have the good life, and it can be relationships or business ideas or how to run your family a little better. And, there's a unique concept out in the world called copying off of your neighbor. And I did a lot of that, Kenneth, in the third grade. I copied off my neighbor in math. I got in trouble for it. And, when my teacher, who was also my aunt, was disciplining me in front of the class, she said, "Why are you copying off your neighbor?" I said, "Well, that's a dumb question," which that got me in extra trouble. But, he's smarter than me. It was that simple. And, I didn't learn until much later in life that copying off your neighbor is one of the things you should be doing, yet it's discouraged in the third grade. So I guess that's part of growing up and being mature. Anyway, there are things that you want to do. You have these hopes and dreams and goals and aspirations, and you want to run a business and take care of your family. And we call that living the good life. And we use a philosophy called fire, aim, ready. And it's about taking action. It's not about perfect action, just regular old boring action. And that is the philosophy of Cashflows, taking the next step, bringing in experts from their field, and learning a little nugget from them each time that we show. And with that, let's say hello to our executive producer, Mr. Kenneth Bockham. Kenneth, hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Dude, I am on fire.
Well, that is, I don't know, unfortunate? I don't know. Do I need to get the fire extinguisher? Or
no,
you just mean you're doing great.
I'm doing great.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, well, no, that's awesome. In that case, I guess I'm on fire too.
Yeah.
We're just burning the place right down, I guess.
Yeah. You and I are part of the Business Owners Networking Group. We've built that organization together.
Yes.
And you're a video, audio, podcast genius. And we've built this group of, by the time this airs, over 6,000 people.
Yes. It's
Isn't that
wild.
amazing?
It's wild how much it's all grown.
And one of the things we like to do here on a daily basis is just give one little business tip.
Yeah.
In fact, our guest today, Kyle Bonfiglio, is going to offer a business tip at the very end. We call that the golden nugget. And we offer a platinum nugget on the front end and one on the back end. And, Kenneth, what I wanted to talk about today, and we've talked about this on numerous shows, but I want to talk about database.
Oh, yes.
And why it's important, because I don't think you can put too much work into your database. And so I want to take a minute, if you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're just a mom who likes giving out Christmas cards and birthday cards, I think you'll find wisdom in how to operate and manage and then use a database and what its purpose is actually for. I moved to the Tulsa area 3 years ago. 2 years ago, we started this B.O.N.G group. And when we started, I literally knew 0 people in the business community. I just didn't know anybody. We were brand new to a town that we'd never really been to very often. And today, a little over 2 years later, I have nearly 6,000 pieces of data on 6,000 unique people. And I want to talk to you about how to use it, why to gather it, and what I do with it. So if you think about meeting people, and in my endeavor, I've done about 1,100 one-on-ones in the last 2 years and 2 months, I guess. And that's where I meet somebody for coffee. Real simple. I don't try to sell them anything. I just want to meet them, find out who they are, where they are. And so the very first piece of data that you get from somebody is their name. The most common second piece of data is email, followed closely by their cell phone number. So those are the 3 primary pieces of data. If you're building a business, you want to make sure that you have those 3 pieces of data literally on everybody you meet. Why? You don't know who you're going to need to talk to. The person pitching you today in your office might be the next person that you hire, or might be the next person that needs what you do. Yeah. And to let people slip through your hands because you don't have a database collection system is literally, it's just not the way to do it. So the 3 primary pieces of data, name, email, cell phone. What do we get after that? Well, I like to do something, Kenneth. I like to connect with people. I like to be the person in their world who's a little unusual. See, I want to stand out. I don't want to be the guy that's just another sales guy. I want to stand out with my behavior. And so when I meet people, I ask an odd question, and that question is, hey, Kenneth, would it be weird if I sent you a birthday card on your birthday this year? And about everybody's like, well, maybe, but yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, cool, what's your birthday? And I've never had anybody not give me that information.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, cool, where can I mail the hand-signed card to? I've never had anybody not give me their address. Those are called the 5 points of data. And if you have the 5 points of data, name, email, cell phone, date of birth, and mailing address, you have a piece of data that has value. Now, hear me clearly. Don't make friends to make money. I just think that's bad form. I think it's messy. You become the guy that people walk across the street to avoid talking to. If you're one of those hardcore salespeople trying to close on the first visit, man, good luck with that. That's just a hard way to live.
Yeah.
And you just become kind of, we call it the sales poodle, always humping somebody's leg, trying to get a little bit of money out of the deal. So don't be the poodle, but it is okay to meet people and meet them where they are and treat them like humans and send a birthday card out. And it's one of the things I love to do. If you're not sending out a birthday card, I bet your competitor is, if they have any business wherewithal at all. And man, you can build a great business simply being nice to people.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Today, 2 years later, 6,000 people in our database. We've built a group to 6,000 people that know us, like us, trust us. That's a vetted group, meaning we didn't let everybody in. If there's 6,000 in the group, there's probably 7,000 that didn't get in the group because we couldn't get enough data about them. But anyway, I want to encourage you, get data. It's important.
Yeah.
Use it in the right way. Use it to love people.
I'm with you on
that.
that.
We tell people, use money, serve people, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Did we pick a name for this segment yet that we're doing at the beginning?
Money matters, business, barnacles.
Business.
I've got a couple. Maybe, let's see. Tip of the day, cash nuggets, financial flashpoints.
Ooh.
What do you got?
Biz Bites?
Biz Bites?
Biz Bites?
I think it's Biz Bites.
I like that one.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you, Kenneth Bockham, for Biz Bites. Can we do that again real quick?
Yeah, sure. Biz Bites?
They will let anybody do a podcast.
They will. There's very little licensing requirements for this.
Yeah. It does not require a degree. All righty. Well,
a degree of fun.
A degree of, yes, we'll go with that. All right. We have Kyle Bonfiglio. I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Bonfiglio.
Bonfiglio. Okay. The G is silent.
Silent G.
Okay. Bonfiglio. Thank you for that. Kyle Bonfiglio with 316 Health Insurance. We're gonna talk about health insurance today. If you want to find Kyle, you can find him at 316healthins.com, 316healthins.com. And so, Kyle, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we know that time is valuable for everybody,
right?
And we consider this you making an investment into our community to spend time with us. So, thank you. Now, you and I, we met through this event called the B.O.N.G Group.
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us about your experience so far with B.O.N.G? Because you haven't. How long have you been a part of it?
I've only been a part a month or two.
Right. Okay.
So
I knew you're. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're 6 months in, you're a newbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's neat. I enjoy it.
So you've been to one of the. I can't remember what events you've been to.
Yeah, I've been to coffee, the new members coffee.
Right here in this building, right?
Yeah, and then I've been to one of the all members coffee.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, we need to get you out to one of our big live events and get you up on the stage and let everybody know you exist.
Well, that'd be cool.
And that's what marketing is, Kenneth. It's just letting people know you exist.
Yeah.
And so, Kyle, before we get into the business stuff, where'd you come from? What's your story? You married, kids, dogs, hunt?
So I'm originally from Wichita, Kansas.
All right.
Moved down to actually Pryor, Oklahoma back in July. The wife got a CFO job for the school, so I couldn't tell her no.
Yeah, that's a good gig.
Spent 15 years in actual aircraft. Always wanted to try my hands at sales. Thought I could help people. Actually got hooked up with a larger company where we just went in and sold, ancillary cancer, heart attack, stroke, kind of
Right.
found out there's a better way to help people.
Right.
So now here I am with 316 Health Insurance, and we just kind of educate and empower people to understand our complicated health insurance system.
Yeah. So what about on the hobby side? Like, do you hunt or fish or play golf or throw darts? What's your story?
I like to play golf, fishing a little bit. I'm not a big hunter, but now being in Oklahoma, there's a lot more opportunity. I'm excited to try my hand out at that. So
Now, you said you spent time in an airplane, and Wichita's big on airplane. That's where Cessna is,
Yep.
and other
Yep.
aircraft industries.
yeah, I worked for Spirit, Textron, a couple different smaller shops.
Right.
Then also kind of actually worked on the airport,
Oh.
loading luggage, fueling planes. So I've been all over the aviation world.
Wow.
So
So you ever fueled an airplane? That just like the
have
small
not.
planes?
small planes, yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
do the big jets. It was more of the private jets, private planes.
I've always wondered how they do that. Do they like roll up and get their Visa card out? And
No, they just got them accounts that are, I don't even want to know how much money,
oh yeah,
yeah.
I
But-
mean, like you fill up your plane. Can you go in and get a hot dog?
Off the roller grill.
Oh yeah, man. I'm writing a country song called "Truck Stop Sushi and a Roller Dog."
Okay.
Like I think it's going to be a hit.
Well,
I want to listen
go.
to it.
Yeah, that's our kind of deal. So it's not like that, right? You can't just hop out.
Hey, there might be in some of them. I know the one I worked at, it was just a small little airport, but I wouldn't be surprised now if that's an option somewhere else.
You got to be able to get a big gulp.
it's true.
Hey, that's
You
a
know.
business in itself. We can.
Yeah, airplane services. That's actually what my brother does. For a
Oh,
living.
really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he does it over in another country though. Well, we're going to talk about the healthcare system,
Yeah.
and my philosophy is that it's neither healthy, caring, or a system,
Right.
and
Very complex.
it is very complex, and I think it's a worry, for most families. Most moms and dads are worried about health insurance. One, just having it,
Right.
and then number two, affording it.
Yep.
And I mean, the world has become so complex, and the Obamacare thing that came around in 2009,
Yep.
and what that did to the industry, and man, I hope you'll ask me what my premiums have been since Obamacare started. We'll segue into that because that's painful for me.
Right.
So, in its most simple form, and everybody kind of knows what it is, but
Right.
a lot of people are just provided insurance and they don't look at it. They don't know that much about it. But in its most simple form, what is insurance?
So insurance in its simple form is just risk sharing, right? We all
Right.
pay a premium. It goes into a pool of money. We don't know who's going to need it or when, but we do know somebody will need some of that money. So our monthly premiums fill up a pool of money. When somebody needs to file a claim, that money is then taken out and paid.
Take it out of the bucket.
We know in a large company where there's thousands of people in that pool, the rates stay a little more stable
Right.
because they can absorb that loss. Well, you get into these smaller businesses, 8 to 10 employees and their family, one person has a $50,000 claim. What's going to happen to everybody's rates the next year? They're going to go up because they have to recoup that money somehow.
Are those rate adjustments based on that one company or companies of like size around the country?
Generally, it just kind of depends on like a company. It's a company specific pool. Now you get into
Okay.
like the Affordable Care Act. If you're individual, it's a national pool.
Right.
So it just kind of depends on,
So those rates are a little more stable.
yes, because you're lumped in with everybody who has that plan.
Right.
You get into these small, mom and pop shops that have 8 to 10 employees, like I say, maybe 50 people in that risk pool.
Right.
One person needs a $50,000 payout.
Right.
Everybody's rates are going up the next year, including
Got
the
it.
business owners.
Right. And is that the time when people switch?
Well, we have the life changing events, deaths, births, change of jobs. So with the Affordable Care Act, we have a set enrollment period from November 1st to January 16th. It's getting ready to wind up,
Right.
in 4 days.
Right.
So we have a unique approach to working with business owners, going a different way from traditional group insurance, maybe looking at more of a stipend model where you just offer your employee X amount of dollars a month. They come work with us and they're able to build whatever kind of insurance plan they want to build. And then, you don't have to worry about rates going up every year because that's your plan and you're lumped in with however many
Right.
people.
If I'm an employer and I have 5 employees and I don't provide benefits, say Kenneth's one of my employees, but I like him a lot,
Right.
can I give him an extra bump in his pay and say, hey, this is for health insurance? Do I have to do something for everybody if I'm doing it for one?
That's up to you as a business owner. I mean, I
Right.
know you offer to one person and not the other. It's going to kind of rub people the wrong
Well, let's
way.
just say it's a little secret deal we have. Don't I have to provide for everybody what I provide for one?
I would think so, but at the end of the day,
Maybe not.
maybe not.
All right. Well, I think we had a check on that. You looking for a job?
Bum, bum, bum.
I think a lot of people worry about the legitimacy these days of insurance.
Right.
As a health insurance agent, you probably don't get a lot of positive phone calls because, if they call you, it's about a claim usually, right?
Well, I actually don't get the calls most of the time. We actually have a team back in Wichita in the office.
Oh, they handle all the
They handle
all the
a majority of it. There's things I can help out with clients,
Right.
but we have a team that's dedicated to helping our clients through when they make claims and whatnot.
So if you create a health insurance client, you've got a full service team behind you.
Yes.
That was kind of my point right there
Yep.
because that service is pretty vast, and without it, where are you going to be?
Right.
So there's like a 1-800 number people can call and they get
We actually have a direct
just a
direct
line.
line. You call the office. We have someone there to, they'll get you in touch with who you need to be with. It's a small business. I'm the only one in Tulsa. That's kind of my job is getting our Tulsa office up and going. But Wichita, we have 3 or 4 ladies in there that's what they do full time.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So who's your client? Who's your best client? Is it a single entrepreneur? Is it a company of 50? If you could just pick out one of those, who'd you prefer to work with?
Honestly, anyone who is frustrated with their insurance, right?
Right.
I deal a lot with individuals who it costs an arm and a leg to get onto their spouse's insurance. My wife, for example, she works for the school district. She gets a monthly, allowance for her insurance. It's free,
right?
But it costs like $1,400 to add the family.
Right.
What a lot of people don't know is that if it actually costs you more than 8.39% of your income as a family to afford that, it's deemed unaffordable. You're actually eligible for subsidies through the Affordable Care Act, where we can actually take and help you get government-assisted priced insurance.
Right.
So, and then small businesses I talk about, business owners are up at night. Oh, so-and-so had a claim. What am I going to do? They don't have a budget.
Right.
It's always changing. So
Right.
we work with small businesses and just kind of teach business owners there's a different way to approach health insurance. It's not always have to be the same exact way.
Right.
We can offer stipends, and then they can go.
So the rules have changed a lot. What about I have a client, and for some reason I think their health insurance they're being terminated off of it in June. I think there's some plan for this health plan to go away in June. Would they then qualify to go back in and get more insurance, even though the enrollment period ends?
Yeah,
in
that
January?
would be considered a life-changing event, right?
Right. So losing a job, losing
a
insurance.
job, birth of a child, death, anything like that,
Right.
is technically a life-changing event. So we can help them.
Can somebody with pre-existing conditions then, if they're leaving one health plan, can they go get on another health plan and carry their pre-existing clause with them?
With the Affordable Care Act, there are some good and bad to it, but that is one of the good things, in my opinion, is
Right.
you can literally have stage 4 cancer and go enroll in an Affordable Care Act plan, and there's no such thing as a pre-existing condition.
Got it. Well, so take a minute, talk about the Affordable Care Act, and that was a controversial thing. I think it's had some benefits. I think it's had some failures.
Yeah. So established in 2010, right? Obamacare, marketplace insurance, there's different names for it.
Right.
People tend to think that it's a substandard form of insurance for poor people, when in reality, it was established to standardize health insurance.
Right.
One of the things they did, eliminated pre-existing conditions. That, in my opinion, is a good thing. It also mandated that any insurance company offer minimal essential coverage. Things as simple as you go to the doctor, 100% preventative care is covered.
Right.
You've got ambulatory services, lab work, prescription drugs, emergency service, hospital, maternity services.
Right.
So there's a lot of good to it. They've specified, there's an open enrollment period, which goes from November 1st to the extension is January 16th.
Right.
And then, they had to have tiered levels of coverage: gold, bronze, silver, platinum, and catastrophic. So there's a wide range of what you can get. There's good in it, but like anything when we start allowing pre-existing conditions, the drawback is premiums in the Affordable Care Act are pretty ridiculous.
Right.
But with the subsidies, we're able to do some pretty creative things.
Got it. So your income versus your premium, what was that percentage again if it exceeds 12%?
8.39.
8.39.
So there's a lot of people out there. I think I read a stat, 70-something% of Americans are actually eligible for government subsidies, but only 20-something% are using them.
Oh, wow.
So what that tells me is that people just don't understand our system. And so that's what we specialize in, is working. We know the system. We know how to navigate. It's as simple as you click a wrong button when you're going through the self-enrollment.
Right.
You may be eligible for a ton of subsidies, but you click the wrong button, it's not going to show you.
So if somebody makes $100,000 and spends $10,000 a year on health insurance, they qualify for a subsidy.
Yeah.
And $10,000 is a pretty low amount. You said just to add your family on was $1,400 a month.
Yeah, and it's
That's $17,000 a year.
Yeah, it's crazy, and just people don't know.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I knew a little bit about it, but that's kind of shocking a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. Kenneth, are we ready to talk about one of our sponsors today?
Yeah, let's do that. So on our list of sponsors today, we want to dive into the whole group. This podcast is coming to you from the studio at Elevate Coworking. Our signage is provided by CM Customs, and the show features amazing entrepreneurs from the Tulsa Business Owners Networking Group. We're sponsored by MFP, My Financial Plan, on the World Wide Web at joinmfp.com, and the show's produced by the audio-video experts at Kenneth Bauckham Photography. With these sponsors at top of mind, let's return to Cashflows, already in progress.
All right. Thank you, Kenneth. We're here today with Kyle Bonfiglio, 316 Health Insurance, 316healthins.com. It actually looks like heel fins. Sorry, I love words. Words are funny. 316healthins.com is where you can find Kyle and learn about the Affordable Care Act. You can learn what subsidies might be available. If you're worried about health insurance, I'm assuming you'll do a free analysis.
Yep, we like to. I'll sit down with anyone.
Right.
I've sat down with people that it doesn't make sense for them. They have a great group insurance, and I'm not gonna try to sell you. If my goal is to educate you on what you have. A lot of people don't understand the basics of what they even have.
Yeah, and I think that's the consultative approach to understanding health insurance is brilliant, and I applaud you for that because a lot of people just don't know how it works.
Right.
And so, this is something to think about. It doesn't take a lot of time to have a consultation. No. Can you do that over the phone or Zoom?
I prefer in person.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, I've worked with people out in other states, you know, so Zoom is a great tool.
Right.
Anyway, we can have a conversation.
Yeah, if you believe in getting your car checked up and a medical checkup and spring cleaning at your house, man, do some spring cleaning on your health insurance and at least have a critical opinion of what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the smartest thing people can do. So we're talking about the Affordable Care Act. Can you define it a little bit better for our audience?
Just it's a standardization of our health insurance, right? It makes all companies be compliant. One I forgot to mention earlier, kind of a cool thing. It actually limited the profitability of insurance companies. So like if insurance companies make more than 20% profit, they actually have to return premium checks to their policy holders. So, it's take it how you will. Some people have a bad opinion of it. Others, that's just.
Well, whatever your opinion is, it's here.
Right. That's our system. I didn't create it.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you navigate it.
Yeah. It's cold outside. That's the weather. And you may have an opinion that you hate the cold, but you better turn up the heat.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So what are these sharing programs that I've heard so much about? And there are several. We're not going to call them out by name here, but, they're not traditional health insurance, right?
No, they've become very popular since the ACA has been in place, right? It's as an alternative to health insurance with cheaper premiums. What we tell people all the time is this is not insurance.
Right.
It's cost sharing, right?
Right.
And what drove the conversation with sharing programs was maternity benefits. Whether I want to have a child, do I not want to have a child? I can't say I'm a Christian, enroll in a sharing program, or say I'm a Christian, not believe in abortion, and not get around the 2.5% penalty that was established when the ACA came around for not having compliant insurance. So we tell people it's not insurance; it's cost sharing.
Right.
It's lifestyle based. So if you party on the weekends and you reap the benefits of that, don't expect the sharing program to pay.
Right.
But the good side to it is if you're sharing risk with people, you're sharing risk with people of similar beliefs, similar lifestyles. So that's a positive. They become incredible. I'm actually a very big proponent, or I enjoy them.
Right.
I try to show people the value in them.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the basis of insurance,
right?
Was, sharing the risk,
right?
And it seems like they're doing that. And I know the premiums are a little bit less. And we're not going to name any companies, but do you represent any of those kinds of companies?
We work with a couple. Everybody kind of knows it's the big name. They don't. Right. We don't have anything with them. They don't pay us.
Right.
To put but. That is one I see tremendous value in. And the thing with you do a lot of the legwork. You're a cash customer at that point. So you do a lot of the negotiating with the doctors and getting your medical bills, and then they stand behind you and reimburse you, and then you pay the bills.
Got it.
Is a little more expensive, but they act more of a traditional insurance. You have a card, you give it to the hospital, they negotiate, and then you're paying off of that.
Got it.
So it really comes down to value. Do you want to save a little more money and do some more legwork yourself? Right. You want to pay a little bit more and have a little easier experience.
Yeah, and maybe there's value in that, Kenneth, because like you mentioned, like to get on your wife's plan of school, $1,400 a month. Mm-hmm. That's a big dig for a lot of families. That's that's a house payment.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's a great question. But either way, our listeners could call you or find you.
Yep.
And get that question answered. Hey, is health care sharing for me? Should I have traditional insurance? Should I get on the group plan? And you'll be able to answer that for the people that reach out to you.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I think people would be crazy not to at least have is it worth a 30-minute conversation to find out if you're on the right track?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably better than a medical physical. Well, talk about this HSA idea. The health savings accounts that are out there. Do you know much about those?
I don't personally mess with a ton of those.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to give any false information.
And do you work more in the group side?
We work more in the individual, but I know, a lot of the HSAs are tied to a group insurance.
Right.
So what I've found is through the Affordable Care Act, there's not a lot of them that I have seen.
Right.
So I wouldn't even want to give.
Got it. Okay. Well, so what's a short-term policy? I was talking to one of my agent friends, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just sold them a short-term policy," and I didn't know what is that.
There is some value in a short-term policy. The thing with them is they weren't designed to be insurance. People look at them and they go, "Man, I can get those for a fraction of the price."
Yeah, but they're 3 months long. Right?
Yeah, they're 3 months long. They have some tri-term. There's different ones. United Healthcare is kind of a big one. They have a big footprint in that market. The thing with those is, say you have one 2 months in, you have some kind of health change.
Right.
When it's time to re-enroll, they're not going to cover.
They're not going to take you past the enrollment.
Yeah,
period.
they don't. Well, they aren't going to re-enroll.
The re-enrollment
yes,
period.
Because you have they don't cover pre-existing conditions. Also, no pre-existing conditions, and then they're not going to. A lot of the times, they don't tell you, but they'll say, "Hey, you got a deductible, but you pay everything up front until you hit that deductible." So just going to the doctor, I spoke with a guy. He got one of these because he liked the price.
Yeah.
His wife went to the doctor for just kind of a routine, have a couple tests, had an $800 bill.
Right.
He called the agent, and she was like, "Well, they didn't explain to him that, your deductible may be this, but you're paying everything until you hit it."
Yeah, the price is low, but the cost is very high.
They were designed to be a stopgap in a changing jobs. We took one out on me when I was moving down here before I really understood what they were. Just because we're moving, I need insurance.
Right.
It's an affordable, but they're not designed to be
Is
long-term.
Cobra still a thing?
Cobra is, yes.
Yeah, so if you leave a job,
Yep,
a bona
18
fide
months.
job, you have 18 months.
Mhm.
Can that 18 months be extended?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, this client that I have, I think their Cobra is ending in June.
Cobra is a great, you keep what you have, but the problem is you're paying full price for that
Right.
plan. So generally it's pretty expensive, but again, if that's what's best for you to keep your current, insurance, then that's always a possibility.
Yeah, I think the short-term thing, having looked at that a little bit, seems, it just seems a little riskier than just getting a traditional plan or even taking Cobra. But, Cobra's 5 times the price of short-term insurance.
Well, and that's the problem is people don't know. Like I say, they see, I can get this for a few $100s versus what I think is a extremely high insurance plan. They don't understand the subsidy system, and they don't understand there are better alternatives out there.
So what if we don't want to go with insurance? What is there something out there besides GoFundMe?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, there are, things like indemnity policies that you could get just on you to cover you from a catastrophic,
right?
But me as an advisor, my job is to tell you, kind of what is best for you. And I don't recommend not having something in place, whether it be just a catastrophic plan that only covers the major event, not anything else. You can get those, or a sharing program. We need to have something in place for just your basic hospital emergency.
Yeah.
And then we can get into some of the alternatives. Some people want to just go with these catastrophic Aflac type plans.
Right.
That is an alternative right now. The 2.5% penalty for not having ACA compliant insurance has been zeroed out. So it's like getting a speeding ticket going down Sheridan and the ticket's zero.
Oh.
If that penalty comes back, you're going to be penalized 2.5% of your income because you don't have ACA compliant insurance. So,
but at the moment, that penalty does not exist.
At the moment, the penalty is still a law. It's still on the books, but in the Trump years, they actually went in and just zeroed it out. So it could come back.
Got it.
So that's kind of something to be aware of if you don't have a sharing program, because being a religious, it's exempt from the penalty.
Right.
Or an ACA compliant plan. So right now, there are some alternatives, but that's just kind of something we need to be aware of that.
Okay. So how do we fix the system?
If I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be sitting here with you. I'd be, I'd be at the beach with a Mai Tai in my hands because I wrote a best-selling book
on how to fix the system.
How to fix it. If you know how to fix it, we should go and write that book.
Duct tape.
WD-40.
WD-40 and duct tape fixes about anything.
A lot of people, we can have the discussion politically. A lot of people want to go to the one payer system, the socialized health care. I personally don't see that being, because that you make $100,000, you pay $15,000 a year for your health insurance. I make $10,000, pay $1,500. We're paying the same percent.
Right.
We're expected to get the same exact
right
coverage. Also, then you got to think doctors. I want $100 for this. I want the government's going to come in and say, hey, here's $10, take it or leave it.
Right. It's
going to de-incentivize the doctors to try to.
I think that's part of the problem. We've lost a lot of great doctors.
Yes.
That's well, I agree that there are some challenges in the healthcare system, and we need bright people to come in and just take action.
Right.
Maybe we'll get one of those political leaders here on the show and get their opinion on it. So if you know somebody, send them our way. So where do you think insurance is going to head down the road?
That's a good question. Personally, I only see it going to 3. We either stay where we're at.
Right.
We make some tweaks to it here and there because, it's not a perfect system, but really it's really one of the best. I can't think of a way better one.
Right. People talk about that, though. Like, I want to go to Denmark. They have the best quality of life. But I was up in Canada not long ago, and people were, but they've got a 16% value-added tax for every dollar you spend. Not just the sales tax, but it's the value-add tax is way more expensive than insurance.
Yeah, we get to that. Like I say, people think that's a great way, or we could go back to the way it used to be. But there was downsides to that. You could be rejected for insurance because you have a simple, they can reject you for anything.
Right.
Personally, I think maybe we look at everybody kind of is in charge of doing their own insurance. There's options out there. Let people choose what they want to do.
Right.
Kind of what we do right now is we give people all their options. They choose what they want. I personally see tremendous value. I'm a guy that goes to the doctor once a year. Why do I want to pay, X amount of dollars for a premium when I can just cover myself from the big event happening and then have some other extra coverages and just pay cash for some of the other stuff.
That was one of my curiosities, because I know a lot of these health plans that are in companies require maternity to be added.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't, I mean, we've got 68-year-old women working for corporations that have maternity care.
Right.
They wish they could have a baby, but and it's priced into their plan as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a little bit of a worry that's,
Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, our system, it has its challenges.
definitely does. We're here with Kyle Bonfiglio with 316healthins.com. 316 Health Insurance is the company. 316 Health INS, healthins.com. Kyle, let's get a golden nugget for our entrepreneurs before we let you go.
Golden nugget. Like I say, like we talked about earlier, to me, it's worth sitting down with somebody, whether it be me or somebody else. Know exactly what you have.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything to sit down and, hey, this is exactly what I have, how it works, and then we can go if that's what's best for you. But you want to add some protection, we can always look at kind of modifying what you have. But there's no reason that everybody shouldn't understand exactly what they have and how to use it.
I agree with that. In fact, in our financial world, when we talk to clients, what's your starting point? Where are you? What do you have is the first question we ask. When you're starting a business and making a goal, you have to assess where you are. It works in business, it works in finance, and it certainly does work in the health insurance world. All right, Kyle, thank you for being here today. Kenneth,
thanks for having me.
I think we have a wrap today. Another fantastic show.
Yes.
And we're going to get out, and I think we knocked it out of the park today.
Yes, we did.
Talking about a topic that's, it's difficult. But these difficult things we have to talk about. And in business, if you're facing something difficult, we have to talk about that as well. We're all out here trying to just keep it together, kind of locked arm in arm. I just visualize we're all walking each other home. And hopefully that we have a nugget here today, a little bit of wisdom that can help you take the next step forward. And so today, let's be nice to each other. Let's make good choices, and let's learn to forgive each other. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about you. And today would be a great day to pick somebody and forgive them and let them know, hey, whatever that transgression was, perceived, real, or otherwise, I forgive you, and move on with it, because if you don't forgive somebody, you're carrying an anchor around with you that really doesn't belong there. So to our friends, our people watching today, to our sponsors, thank you so much for being here. This show is Cashflows, and this show is about you. Thank you for being here.
That's our show for today. Stay tuned for another riveting edition of Cashflows.